Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
And in I am. Hello and welcome everyone to USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads. And a big shout out to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio out of New York. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I'm so excited about our new intro. Thank you so much, Mr. Alcini, for that wonderful voice. And our show today is the United Kitchens, where we feature two celebrity chefs from different parts of the world who are cooking things up for us. So let's introduce our first chef, Simon from Scotland. Hi, Simon. How are you?
Hello. Good. Yeah, it's a bit drafty here today. The east coast of Scotland's suffering 90 to 100 mile an hour winds and driving rain. We've got snow in the hills. Yeah, it's winter, I think. It's certainly not summer.
So how's that affecting your cooking? Is everything safe there? Your electric is up and running, I see. You're all good?
We're just, as they say, cooking by gas here. But yes, we've got all our faculties today. I might not have all of mine, but everybody else has.
Simon, it's always a pleasure to see you. I'm going to spotlight you, and if you could just tell our audience a little bit about your background as a celebrity chef.
Well, thanks everybody, and welcome to the United Kitchens. I'm Simon McDonald. I've been cooking since as long as I could pick up a pan. I've been passionate about food. I love to make food fun. It should be fun because we're going to enjoy it to eat. We've got to enjoy it to make. So I've cooked for royal households, our own one, the Jordanian one, the Norwegians, the Dutch, and so on and so on. And I've also cooked for 3 of your US presidents as well, with great honor and great privilege. And they survived to tell another day, so it couldn't have been all that bad. I had a food smoking business as well, and we shipped from Beverly Hills in the west to Tokyo in the east. And we were in a very remote area of Scotland where to buy a gallon of petrol, it would cost 2 gallons of petrol just to get to the petrol pumps and back again. So that was remote. But west of Scotland, absolutely beautiful part of the world. We've got some beautiful fresh raw ingredients here as well. It's just a natural larder. And so I'm going to be doing some of these for you tonight, but with a slight international theme to it.
Wonderful. We can't wait. So exciting. Thank you, Simon. Let us also bring out our other celebrity chef, who, there she is, Ricki McKenna. Hi, Ricki. Is she in the kitchen?
Hi, Jacalyn. Hi, Simon. Yeah, it's been a little crazy around here, and we actually have a beautiful day today. It's been cool for a change in Houston, and that's where I've been located for the last 8 years, but I have been cooking for the last a lot more. Since I was a little kid, same thing, love food. I'm a certified nutritionist, so I bring that to my cooking as well. Most of the things are healthy, except that yesterday was kind of a trip off the block with all the Thanksgiving goodies. I made a cream cheese pumpkin pie that was a no-bake, and it was absolutely scrumptious, topped with chopped up roasted pecans. But today we're going to be doing something a little bit different with the leftover turkey and some other turkey. I have been cooking for many, many years as a nutritionist for schools, I've worked with organizations, I've worked with places like Dow Chemical and a number of other organizations, and as well as individual people, as I am a health coach as well. So my forte is food. I know that food is the basis for our health, and therefore I absolutely love doing what I do and hope you'll enjoy today's recipe.
Thank you, Ricki. It's always such a pleasure to have two such professional and entertaining people with me on the show. So thank you for that. Simon, you're the first to entertain us today. So we're going to spotlight you, and Ricki and I will be backstage eagerly watching and drooling.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Drooling.
Well, happy Thanksgiving of yesterday. We have another festival coming up this week. It's St. Andrew's Night. So I'm also doing the bird tonight. I think this is a fly away Friday because we're both working with birds. I'm not working with fish. People are wondering, what? Simon not working with fish? Well, here we go. We've got chicken breast. We've got prosciutto, which is similar to the Parma ham, absolutely delicious. And other ingredients for the sauce as well, which includes peppercorns, Madeira wine, we've got mushroom, and we've got red onion. There's a nice sweetness to red onion, but also doing just a little bit of a mashed carrot glaze to it. And for that, I'm using a little bit of brown sugar and a little bit of ginger. When you're cooking carrots, put ginger in. It's wonderful, brings the flavors to life. But the star of the show as well is this haggis, a real Scottish dish, a real Scottish haggis, shot fresh this morning, of course. But it's the dish itself is a classic dish, but with a Scottish twist, and the Scottish twist is the haggis. And I've got a very nice wine to pair with it all as well at the end of the day. It's a fleury. It comes from the Beaujolais region of France. It's from the Gamay grape. It's got just a lovely light zing to it. Something like this, I'd normally maybe suggest Chardonnay, not a Chardonnay, sorry, a Shiraz, or the Syrah grape, because it's got the pepperiness and the bite to get through into the depth of the flavor of the food. But I just feel that this dish needs something a little bit lighter to enjoy with it. So hence the reason for this delicious fleury. So let's get going. We've got to cut a pocket into the chicken breast. So just very simply done. Which end will I go for? I'll go for the thick end. There we are. And we cut the pocket almost all the way through, but not quite. So that we can open that out. And there we go. Now in that pocket, I'm breaking up some of the haggis. The combination of chicken and fresh haggis. Now for all those who haven't tried haggis before, I really would recommend trying it. It is delicious. It's don't be put off by the scary stories you hear about haggis. Those scary stories have been invented by Scotsmen who want to keep it all to themselves. It is fabulous. It's got a nice spicing to it. It's got oatmeal and mutton, which is basically it's a growing up lamb, and it is so tasty. Now I'm going to just wrap the prosciutto around it. Parma ham in Spain, prosciutto in Italy, and presunto in Portugal. It's all the same thing. Absolutely delicious. So we just wrap that, a couple of slices of that around. And then this one's all stuck together again. Never mind, it doesn't matter if you get those sort of thicker parts of it. Absolutely fine. So there we go. That gets wrapped around there. And we pop it onto a piece of tin foil. And we make a little parcel out of it. Because chicken breast can go quite dry, the idea of the prosciutto, Parma ham, is there to give it a bit of moisture. I'm just going to give it a little bit of help with just a little bit of olive oil as well. Not much, just about a teaspoonful. That's all you need. And we'll seal this up on the tray. There we go. Nice little parcel. Sleepy pies into the oven. Fan oven, about 180 degrees, which is 325 in America. Over here, we work in centigrade. Over there, we work in Fahrenheit. We used to do Fahrenheit here, but our neighbors over in Europe don't understand what Fahrenheit is. So we've now got next thing we do, well, that's just simmering away there and warming through, cooking through. The chicken, you've got to make sure chicken, of course, is cooked through. So we'll look at the sauce to go with it. That is a fairly straightforward and simple thing. Based with finely chopped red onion. Say red onion's a lot sweeter than you've got with the ordinary cannonball type of onion. So want these chopped fairly small. I better put some heat on it as well. That would help. So there we go. I love cooking with gas rather than electric because gas is so controllable. You can do all sorts of things with gas. It's wonderful, wonderful stuff to work with. So if you want it hot, you turn it up, it's hot instantly. You turn it down and it cools down instantly. So wonderful thing. So just having one mushroom's enough for this. I'm not doing a banquet for 1,000,001 people. So just chop it up. Rough, but reasonably fine. And here we go. There we go. Right. And remember, when you're chopping, if you're chopping with your fingers, make a semi-fist like that. So your nails are tucked underneath. And then you can chop down the edge just using your fingers as the guide with the knife, and you won't cut yourself. If you're by attempting put your fingernails forward, you'll have a beautiful manicure, and you'll also need to reach for the band-aid as well, probably. So try and avoid that. But chop, and you can chop very quickly like that, greatest of ease. And you only ever cut yourself once. You'll never make that mistake again, I promise you. So we'll just lift this lot into the pan. I've got oil in that pan already. So that'll just let this soften down. We want the mushrooms to soften nicely. Now, while that's softening down, we'll start with the carrot. The carrot I've actually cut very small, and I've already boiled it there with a little bit of salt in the water, and it's just ready to prepare. So I'll put that there. About for a couple of carrots that I've got there, you want just short of a teaspoonful of brown sugar, a little bit of butter, and it is for this only need really a little actually. Who cares about the calories? There we go. So we've got some butter in it, and fresh ginger. This is the magic ingredient when you're doing anything with carrots, parsnips, broccoli, fresh ginger through broccoli. It's wonderful. A lot of people don't like ginger, but when you try it this way, it's sensational. So we'll just grate some of this fresh ginger in. I peeled it just a wee while ago there, so it you don't want to see me peeling a piece of ginger. I mean, we can all peel a piece of ginger. Just grating this down very, very finely. And we don't need a huge amount of it. That's absolutely ideal. Pop that back in there. We just scrape that in there. I'm using gadgets tonight. That's unusual. Don't normally do things like that. There's the lid again. Give this a shake. There we are. Let's start to bend it in. Get the masher. Let's check these boys here. Yep, they're coming on nicely. And then we'll just mash this down. You want it almost pureed, in fact. It's rather nice. You take the texture out. We've got enough texture going on in the main dish. So there we go. So there we are. That's that. I'll just pop that out the way because otherwise I'm bound to knock it over. And when you're cooking, as you go along, just have little tastes here and there. Oh, so love that carrot done that way. It's really beautiful. So just pop that back there. Just keep warm. We'll use that as well. Put that back. Right, now we're ready for a wee spludge of Madeira. I'll move that one out of the way. There we go. Come on, get rid of the alcohol. Just burn that away. Well, it's cold outside, so why not? If you get the member wrong with that, you can have a nice housewarming anyway. So that's it. That's spot on. Okay, so that's just simmering nicely there. We've got some double cream. Before I do that, I'm just turning the heat down on that a little bit. Peppercorns, black peppercorns. You want a few of those like that. Bring them over here. And then with the flat of your knife, a good broad chef's knife. Love this knife. It's my favorite tool in the kitchen. We just want to crush those down a bit. There we go. And then we can chop them through. Use a pepper mill if you like, but for this dish, you want the pepper to be a little bit coarser. Some people, I know, would actually leave the pepper whole. They wouldn't cut it down at all. But to my mind, it's a bit like eating lead shot when you do that. You need a good strong set of teeth. There we are. So that's enough there. Right, so we're just ready to pop that in. Cream. There we go. Lovely. Sit that there. Give it a little stir in. Double cream all the time when you're cooking with it. You've got to use double cream. It won't split. And you can boil it up. You can kick it about the kitchen. It's wonderful. It really keeps its form. Right, there we go. Just whap the peppercorns in now. Spread them about. Give them a wee stir in. We'll just let that simmer away a little bit. Don't need to use chicken stock with this one because we got chicken in the oven just now, so that just keeps going nicely. I'll just put a little bit more heat under there to bring it up a wee bit, and then carrots are ready. That's nearly there. The chicken's coming along, an absolute treat. So while we're waiting on the next bit, you know, we explain about this beautiful flurry. This is a red wine that you can have chilled, and it is beautiful if you put it in the chiller. Not as cold as you maybe have the likes of a Sauvignon Blanc or a Chardonnay or something, but with this, just lightly chilled below the room temperature, and it puts another dimension to it, and it's got that lovely light fruity zest to it. Delicious, absolutely delicious. That is a wine, when you've drunk it once, you'll always come back to it. As an aperitif, just drunk on its own, fantastic. But with chicken dish, it's great. With certain fish dishes as well, fantastic. With tuna, swordfish, marlin, anything like that, it is so good. Now, we will need the plate. That's coming on nicely. So I will just leave that there ready just now. Now this sauce I'm going to transfer into another pot because, actually I'll just sit that on there. What I'm going to do with this, I want to blitz this right down, and so it's really nicely pureed, and it blends the flavors of everything in so much better that way. So just leave that there. If the sauce gets too thick, then you can use a little bit of milk in it. I love this tool. I don't tend to use the big birth of a blender that you have to put everything into this big glass container and then whiz it up. The hand whisk, I find you've got more control over it. You can see what you're doing as you go along. So we're getting this. And the lovely thing with this as well, it aerates the sauce. So you've got something akin to a fizzy sauce. Just take the top off that and just let it rest for a little bit. Then we'll see if we need to thin it anymore. So the chicken can come out, the prosciutto is around it, just gives that little bit of sealed in moisture to it. The oil helps stop the chicken breast dry out. The haggis itself, it's quite a fattening dish. I tell no lies. And I like the haggis and it shows. But with the haggis, it's there's butters and so on there, and the flavors, as I say, the spiciness that comes through without being a burning spice. It's a flavorsome spice, and it complements the chicken, because chicken can be slightly bland in flavor. But if you get good corn-fed chicken, a natural free-range corn-fed chicken, it's got more flavor to it. A lot of the supermarket cheap chickens, flavors been bred out of them. They've been injected with water and so on to plump them up and make them look really good. It doesn't work for me at all. You've got to have good free-range corn-fed chicken. If you've got a friendly farmer that that does chickens, that's the man to speak to. Chicken is the most widely eaten food in the planet just now as well. It is everybody eats chicken, every country, and more chicken than anything else is eaten. Fish is coming up a very close second. So I'm just going to get this ready now for that. We've been in there for about 8 minutes, so we'll just give it a minute more, and we shall see. In fact, I might just take it out just now. Let's have a little look. Oh, the smells are wonderful. Oh, they are delicious. Yes, that is really, really coming along very nicely. And I'm just going to give it a little poke, see if the juices are running clear. If the juices are running clear, your chicken's ready. If they're not, if there's any sign of discoloration or any blood or anything, or it's slightly blonde looking, then it's just not quite ready. And that, I'm just going to pop it back just for a moment more. And I'm actually going to leave the parcel open because that'll let the excess steam out of it. And this is something it's fit for a king. It really is. It is so tasty at the end of the day. So we've got our carrot ready to go on the plate. And the plate's nice and warm. So actually I'll just put a little bed of that in the center. In fact, I'm going to, because it's a special night tonight, we've got St. Andrew's night, and you've just had your speciality as well with Thanksgiving. So let's just, drawer full of kitchen gadgets here I rarely use. So we'll just fill this to the center. There we go. So that's done to the center there. It just gives it a nice little rounding off. There we are. I can get rid of that. And we've just got to look at the sauce now, which is, yes, that's coming on nicely. It's not going to be too thick. That's always the concern. You don't want a sauce. It shouldn't be like wallpaper paste. You want something that is going to be delicate over the food you're having. So I think that should be just about there now. go. Just sit that on top there, like that. And we'll get rid of that one. Get rid of that now as well. And then our sauce, and it's just got these lovely delicate bubbles going through it as well. So we'll just drizzle that around the edge, and a little bit over the top as well. And everybody, there we have it. Switch those ones off. And there we have. It's a flyaway chicken with haggis. It's a classic dish that has got the Scottish twist with the haggis. And as I say, to go with it, enjoy. Thank you.
Well done. We have a comment from Svitaka. I hope I said that right. Loving this. Thanks for watching, Karen, over on YouTube.
Hello, Karen.
Hello, Karen. Thank
welcome
you.
to United Kitchens.
Welcome.
Simon, that looks like quite a dish.
Oh, it's so delicious, and they're just bang full of all sorts of different flavors, and there's the spiciness from the haggis, and the ginger through the carrot as well. It's the only way to eat carrot. It's just so lovely that way. A little bit of sugar to just soften the edge on it. It's fantastic. You can make a meal out of that in itself.
Very creative. And you mentioned that it's got some calories to it, but it's worth it.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, I mean, if it's got calories on it, it's even better still. Yes. Yeah, we're into the winter. It's bad weather. We need to fatten ourselves up a bit. Feel like the turkey fattening up for Christmas, and then we can go the crash diet after that.
When we
Maybe.
get to 2022, we can worry about that, right? With our resolutions.
Yes. We've got a whole year to try and lose something.
Yes, exactly.
Lose the weight, turn my pockets out. I'll find it again.
Thank you so much, Simon. That was brilliant. Ricki, we're over to you. Are you ready?
I am ready. Thank you. And Simon, I have to say, I want the recipe. I've never really had haggis, even though my used-to-be in-laws are from Scotland. And so my husband was born here, late husband. But we never actually had haggis. They threatened me with it a few times, but I never did have any. I would love
You've
to
never
try.
lived. You can say you've lived once you've had a haggis.
Okay, we'll have to go there.
A nice whiskey goes with the haggis. If you're having haggis in the traditional way with mashed potato and mashed turnip, then you have just that. You've got to have a good quality whiskey to go with it. In fact, you can make a sauce using the whiskey as well.
I liked your sauce a lot better than that thought. Leave the mashed potatoes for later.
I'm just saucy, you know me.
Yeah, that's true.
I told you get entertainment with this show as well as information. So
Well, food's fun.
Yeah.
So we may as well have fun with each other.
Well, if you can't have fun in the kitchen, why bother?
Exactly. Yes.
love it. All right, Ricki, we're going to watch you have some fun, and Simon and I will be backstage. So enjoy.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Dr. Jacalyn, and welcome everybody to my kitchen. This is Ricki's Kitchen. And today what we're going to do is take some of that, not really the leftover turkey, but I'll tell you exactly how I started. You can see my crock pot back here. After dinner and taking all the leftovers, the turkey bones, and I added a carrot, and what else did I put in there? Some celery. So I'm out of celery. So instead of celery in today's recipe, I took my kale and I stripped it. So I took the kale leaves off, and we're going to use these instead of the celery. But we do have carrots. But I took all of that last night and put in about 4 cups of water and let it cook on low overnight. So I have turkey broth to use rather than water. And I want to show you one hint before I get started on the recipe, because I think it's such a handy dandy thing. I think everyone knows what this is. Simon, you probably recognize this. It's a tea ball. And this is where one puts raw tea or tea leaves and puts them in your tea to brew. But what I did was I took fresh thyme and I rolled it up so it fit, squished it into the tea ball. And you can do this with anything, bay leaves or any other fresh herbs that you want to put in, but you don't want to leave in the soup or the dish when you're finished. So using a tea ball enables you to put it in there. It comes through beautifully. And then it's so simple and easy and clean to get it out when you're done. So now that I have thyme all over my hands, or thyme on my hands, whatever, we are going to make turkey barley tomato soup. And the first thing we're going to do is take our ground turkey. As I said, we'll use the leftover turkey and the bones to make the broth and another soup. So I'm going to take my ground turkey, I have a pound of ground turkey, and I'm heating up about a 6-quart pot into which I have sprayed olive oil around it because I don't want the turkey to stick. So rather than, pardon me, putting the olive oil on the bottom, I've sprayed it all around so it coats the pot. And this will also add some flavor to the soup. So what I'm doing is taking this, heating it up on medium high, and I'm going to take my turkey and put it in and let it start to cook. As I said, it's ground turkey, so I'm going to put it in very carefully. And as it cooks, it's important to take your fork or whatever utensil you want to use and make sure you break it up. Because as you can, well, you can't tell, but I'll show you. It kind of spreads out, and you want it to be distributed evenly through the soup. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that, but I'm also now going to add some more goodies. And first of all, I've got some of the onion cut up, but I'm going to show you, let's cut, this is half an onion. I cut the other half earlier because I wanted to show you how to cut this. If I can get the carrots out of the way. First I've cut it, here's your onion. I cut it crosswise, and now I'm just going to start at one side and cut it very quickly into wonderful chunks that'll go in the soup. And as Simon said last week, using the back of the knife to scrape it off the wooden board, because we don't want any shavings of wood in there. I'm going to put the onions in with the turkey. And of course, it hasn't started to sizzle yet, but it will. And you really don't have to measure, you just have to put the stuff in there. Now we're going to take our carrots, and I have to show you a gadget that I got. Simon, you're going to love this. Of course, we can do this and cut the carrot into coins. Now here's the gadget that I got. It looks kind of weird until you open it up. Carefully, if I can open it up. Hello, there we go. And it looks more like scissors. But the cool part is, watch. Now, is that absolutely wonderful? It takes forever to chop through carrots. This thing does it in 2 seconds. And the only problem, as I understand it at this point, is besides the carrot being alive and running all over the place, the supply chain at this point is has a bit of a problem. We can't get the products in too soon. So I'm going to take my carrots, and my oil and turkey's beginning to sizzle. So I'm going to put my carrots in there and then make sure I break up the turkey. There we go. I'm going to turn it down a little bit so it's still on medium high. And it's not sticking to the pot, which is a good thing. All right, mixing up carrots, onion, and turkey. And now, of course, garlic. And I did sneak a garlic clove in earlier. So I'm going to cut that and just chop it up into little bitty pieces without chopping my fingers. Thank you very much, Simon. I did that once, and I don't know who got it, but it was in the salad. They had a piece of my nail. Nobody complained, though. So we'll take the garlic and put that in. And if you like more garlic in your soups and stews, go ahead and use more. I used 2 cloves where the recipe actually called for 1. And now I'm going to take the stems from my kale and also from some collard greens. And I'm going to cut them up in lieu of celery. So we'll have a little different flavor. And they're tinier than a celery rib would be. So that's rather nice. So I've cut them up into little tiny bites. And we'll put those in. And they may take a wee bit longer to cook and to soften than the celery would, but that's okay. Here we go. Give that a little mix. It's beginning to smell fine. All right. And now we're going to add our water. Oh, excuse me. 3 tablespoons or a tablespoon of taco mix. Now the taco mix, I'm going to give you just roughly what's in it. It contains chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder, red pepper flakes or crushed red pepper, oregano, paprika, cumin, salt, and black pepper. And I've mixed it up earlier so that I could be able to use it. And if you don't use all of it at the time that you make it, then it keeps beautifully in the pantry in a sealed jar. So that's how you can make your own taco seasoning. And the advantage to that is you can also control the amount of which spice you put in, as well as you know that there's no any added MSG or anything else, any other chemical thing that you don't want. So I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of this and sprinkle it in and mix it around. It comes out to about 4 tablespoons, by the way. And, oh my goodness, does that smell good. And my turkey's breaking up beautifully. So it's distributing itself all around the pan or pot, as it were. And I'm going to add my broth. Now this is a 4.5 cup measuring cup, and it is completely full. That comes out to 1 liter. And I'm going to add about half of it and turn it up so that it starts to boil. And put that right there. One of the reasons I did that was, of course, for flavor. And I happen to love all the veggies that went into it, so I'll have a veggie feast with some really softly cooked turkey left over. Okay, so the next thing we do is, let's see, we've got our carrots, the turkey, the carrots, the onion, the celery, the garlic, and a tablespoon of the taco seasoning mix. And it's going to cook a few minutes here. I'm kind of speeding it up a little bit. You could put it on medium and let it cook for a while. But what I want to show you is that this soup does not take forever. The longest cooking part of it, or the thing that takes the longest to cook, is the barley, which I have pre-cooked in a pan about 2/3 of the way one would normally cook it if you were going to eat the barley as a side dish, which is absolutely marvelous because instead of replace rice or to replace quinoa or other things, barley is absolutely wonderful. It's very filling. It's full of fiber, and it's happened to be one of my favorites. It does contain gluten though. So at any rate, what we're going to do now is the water's going in, and I have about 2 cups of diced tomatoes with the juice. And I'm going to add gradually now. So remember, it's turkey, barley, and tomato soup. Good. And having made this before and gotten rave reviews, I think it's absolutely marvelous. And of course, there's the juices from the tomato that go in as well. There we go. And then I'm going to stir up the barley, which, as I said, is partially cooked, just to get it to where I can put, I believe it's a cup of barley in there. Let's see, how much? 3/4 of a cup, but I happen to like barley, so we're going to use a cup. And I'm going to also take some oregano and parsley and sprinkle that in. So we've got a good combination of spices and herbs in there, and mix everything up. Yes, I'm mixing with a fork, but that's okay. I want to make sure that my turkey it's wonderfully running around the pot in little pieces. So it's like a turkey stew, but it is soup. There we go. It's beginning to boil again, so I'm going to turn it down a wee bit and add the rest of my broth. So I've got about 4.5 cups of broth in there, but there's also the juice and the liquid from the tomatoes that goes in. And let's see. I'm going to stir in the remaining taco seasoning, which means I'm going to see how much it actually came out to since I made this morning. We've already got 1 in, that's 2. It's a wee bit, that's 3 tablespoons. Okay, perfect. And we're going to give that a stir with the big spoon. And oh my goodness. The wonderful part about this soup is, since I've already pre-cooked the barley, it will only take about 15 minutes to finish cooking, and you'll be able to serve it then. So now I'm going to take my barley, since that's already done, because the longest cooking part, as I said, of this is the barley. And so we're going to take that and put it in a little bit early, unless you just soak and drain the barley so that it's actually still raw, but it is soaked so it's softened up and you've broken the casings of it so that it will cook easily. But I've already pre-cooked it for about almost half an hour. It usually cooks for about 45 minutes. And the soup would also be cooked for about 25 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to take just a couple of big spoonfuls. It's over a cup, but that's because I love barley. So we're going to use that. And I have a bunch of barley left over that I can use either for cereal or as an accompaniment to any other dish that I happen to make. And I'm going to turn my heat down to medium. And unfortunately, I don't have a gas range, so I have to be very cognizant of where this goes. And it's on medium-high now. And I'm going to let it come up and simmer. You want to boil the barley first, of course, so it's easier and it does things quicker. The other thing I love about this soup is that everything goes in very quickly, and it gets done in a hurry. And it's so hearty and so filling that all I serve with it usually is a wee bit of salad. And it would work with either a dry white wine, or if you prefer a light red wine. A Pinot Noir actually works beautifully with this. And a Pinot Grigio would actually work too. So if you want red or you want white, whatever your preference is. And I also serve it You can serve it as the first course, but of course I would serve a lot less. As I said, this is very filling, so I would serve at least a cup of it as the main part of the meal. And it has all those wonderfully nutritious things in it. And then, of course, you have the vegetables left over. It's a bit messy, but I'll show you anyway. In the crock pot. I love crock pots. They're marvelous. Okay. So we've got the bones and the chicken left over. And, of course, it's a bit messy, but I will take the chicken off the bones. And we'll have that. And I can use that as a base for another soup if I want to. Or, as I am wont to do, I will just put it in a bowl and nibble on it. It makes a great lunch. Let's see. I think we're boiling. So we'll have the finished product in about 15 minutes. And so I can give you the recipe if you like. Again, I'd be happy to do that. If anybody has a writing tool and you want to write this down, it's a tablespoon of chili powder, a quarter teaspoon each, garlic powder, onion powder, and red pepper flakes, and oregano, a half teaspoon of paprika, 1.5 teaspoons of cumin, a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of black pepper. And that's your taco seasoning, which you can use, as I said, and if you don't use it all at one time, it does keep beautifully in a sealed jar. And saving some of your empty glass jars from the spices that you buy works beautifully for something like that. And we are starting to boil. We're simmering beautifully. Okay. Do we have any other comments on there, Dr. Jacalyn?
No, we do not have any other comments. I see people are watching on all the different areas. But if anybody has a comment or a question,
Yeah.
now that would be great.
It looks fantastic.
Oh, it's an absolutely marvelously filling and not fattening soup. Other than there are a lot of carbohydrates in the barley. But I have found it to be one of the most delicious and easy to prepare soups that I've ever done. And I have been making soups for probably 20 years, just soups in particular. And I find that this one is marvelous. You can also serve it with an anti-inflammatory muffin or something that's not really sweet, or a biscuit, something along those lines, or just really wonderful garlic bread.
Fantastic. Ricki, I'm going to make a suggestion, and also Simon, for you as well. If you want to go onto any of our platforms and type in what the recipe is,
Sure.
I can go ahead and put it on all the platforms.
Well, that would be great. Okay.
Yes, maybe a taster to buy in the book.
Absolutely.
Yes, the taster word being used appropriately there.
Yes.
And Simon, it looks like you've consumed your wonderful meal.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't wait.
I love it.
It's not as if I hadn't had something to eat earlier, but this is just something. This is a new dimension. This really is. It is so lovely. And,
It's about
I'm getting tucked into the flurry as well, which it just goes beautifully. But that soup that you've just done there, I mean, on day 2, I should think it would be really coming into its own.
everything comes together. Yes, all the flavors concentrate, and if barley gets infused with all the flavors and the seasoning, and the whole thing is absolutely delicious.
Yes.
To be very honest, and I think you could probably use chicken, but this is turkey since it's turkey, the day after Turkey Day.
Yeah.
And so you can actually use some of your leftover turkey if you want to also.
Yeah, it's so important to make use of leftovers because
Absolutely.
I mean, the facts and figures state that a third or over a third of the food that people buy at Christmas gets put in the bin or in the trash if you're in America.
Yep.
I mean, it's criminal. It really is. It's if you're not going to eat it, don't buy it. But,
Right.
But if you've got leftovers, fine, but use them. And the number of dishes you can create from leftovers,
Absolutely.
simply and easily, it's wonderful.
I love the creativity.
Simon, if this makes you feel better, I have a whole program of something I call Left with Right, which means we take leftovers and we make them right into something else in front of
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
And so I agree totally with you. The waste of food worldwide is horrendous.
It is. And I mean, you look at some of the state of some of the countries. Oh, here we go, preaching again. But look at some of the countries and so on, and the starvation that's going on there. It's and in recent times as well, in Afghanistan, the kids there, they're suffering malnutrition and so on because they just can't afford the food. They can't get the food, and here we are throwing it away.
I know. I think I shared on a different show that I donated a ton of food before moving, and where I was in New Jersey, and believe it or not, 10 miles away in the same state, there were people lined up for food.
Yeah.
So it happened more than what you might expect.
And the pandemic has brought along a lot of poverty as well. I mean, a lot of people who haven't got jobs, they haven't got work left to go to now because the companies have collapsed or they've slimmed down. In the UK, we've got these food banks, which people donate food and supermarkets donate food, and they're all packaged out and portioned out. And if people can't afford to buy food, and I mean, this is the 21st century. In civilized places like supposedly first world countries like the UK, and they can't afford to buy food. Well, they can go along to drop-off centres or drop-in centres and be given this food. And there's no shame in accepting charity. These centres are actually struggling now to get enough food because there's just so many people in that position. Very sad.
We have food banks in most of the places here to most of the states. I know Houston has a food bank or several, and they serve hundreds of thousands of people, as well as I lived in Colorado for 15 years, and we had the same thing there. And I just wanted to show you what the soup looks like. I'm not sure you can see it.
Oh,
yes,
It's yummy. It's thick. You almost need a fork to eat it.
That's a good rib sticking soup. It's great for winter, that.
Yum.
Fantastic. My wonderful celebrity chefs, once again, you have prepared 2 incredible meals, and I think people do want the recipes, so do share them with me so I can get them out. And thank you both. I just really enjoyed this as always. So, Ricki, I'm going to spotlight you. If you could just give your contact information, we have it here, but for people listening on the radio.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's Ricki at rickimckenna.com. Ricki'sKitchen.net is a work in progress, but it will be my website. Or you can actually phone me. I do take phone or text me at the phone number. That's a better way. It's 970-618-7607. And you can reach me on my Patreon site, which is patreon.com. Thank you very much, Dr. Jacalyn. http www.patreon.com/Ricki McHealthy, MC Healthy. And I'm happy to correspond with you. Please feel free to, I love feedback, literally, and I would be happy to talk with you and share my recipes. Thank you so much. And happy holidays.
Thank you very much. And Simon, I'm going to spotlight you, and if you could share with people how they can get in touch with you.
Right. Sorry, I haven't got my mouth full anymore. I've been eating away. There's not much left. Right. You can contact me on MacDonald'ssimon at ymail.com. And that's the letter Y. And it's MACD. I'm a real McDonald. So you can contact me there. I'm always close to my email. It's on the go all the time. So please just drop me a line or an email, however you want to describe it. And I will give you whatever recipes that we've done on the show so far to help your dinner parties, impress your friends, impress your neighbors, impress your loved ones.
Thank you, Simon. And I do want to just share with our audience. I have heard from a few people that they feel intimidated to reach out. Please do not. These are real people who want to help you. So do contact them and they will get back to you. Do not be afraid. You are not alone, okay?
No, you're not. We're here to do these things for you.
Yeah, and I don't bite. I only bite on this.
Yeah, I did bite, and it's good. The only thing is I like the carrots done a wee bit softer, so I'm going to let it cook a little bit more.
Yeah.
Till it bruise the carrots.
I'd be interested. I was looking at that gadget you were using. The best gadget you've got in any kitchen. It's the most versatile gadget. Exactly. Your paws. That's the one.
Your digits.
Your paws and a good knife. And,
Absolutely.
It would be interesting doing a chopping competition knife against that gadget, because at the end of the day, when you've built your knife skills up, do it slowly, build it up, and you will find that you can outpace just about anything you like with that. I know I've done it with smoked salmon. I was working with it for over 30 years, and I could slice a side of salmon, a full 2.5 pound, 1 kilo, 2.5 pound side of salmon in just about 1 minute dead. And that's all hand sliced, wafer thin slices, getting about 62 slices off that one side. So
people just have to get a little competition going that people can start making wagers. No, I'm kidding. We know.
Have the band-aids ready.
All right, we have to go. Our next show is starting in 2 minutes. It's called The Bookstore, and we'll be right back. Simon and Ricki, I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Great job.
Blessings to all, and please do call.
Yes.
Reach out. Okay, bye-bye.
That's why we're here.